Donald Trump about to hold a huge rally in North Carolina. The former president has been sharpening his attack lines on Kamala Harris. Listen to this.
She's destroyed San Francisco, which is a hell of a thing to do. If she becomes president, Kamala Harris will make the invasion exponentially worse. And just like she did with San Francisco, just like she did with the border, our whole country will be permanent.
Kamala Harris already proving just how much of a radical she is. She declined to preside over Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to Congress, siding with anti-Israel agitators who got violent, burning the American flag while protesting Netanyahu's visit. So what did Kamala think was more important? She spoke at a sorority conference. Watch this.
In this moment, our nation needs your leadership once again. In this moment, I believe we face a choice between two different visions for our nation. One focused on the future, the other focused on the past. And with your support, I am fighting for our nation's future.
So, Kellyanne, obviously we're having our little boomlet here of enthusiasm for Kamala Harris. I think mostly Democrats who are just relieved it's no longer Joe Biden. But, you know, David McCormick, who's running in Pennsylvania, released a pretty stunning ad today recounting, in her own words, all of the most radical policy positions, with Bob Casey, the incumbent, endorsing her at the front end and the back end. We're going to see this all over the place. Will it work?
We should say it's a really good model for ads for these down ballot races. These Republicans have been underperforming Donald Trump in Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Montana. Do you see a trend here? If I left any out, you're underperforming too. So they need to sharpen it up and not just wait for his energy and enthusiasm to carry them over. It's a great ad by McCormick. It will work. I think also going through Kamala's greatest hits to show that she's part of the Biden-Harris border problem, inflation, Bidenomics can be Harrisomics, the two new wars, and on and on. I don't think it'll be enough because I think that she's going to have a basement strategy, but in front of a teleprompter. She's only going to do friendly interviews. She's only going to talk from the teleprompter. It's going to be very high level, make history with me kind of stuff. But when you get granular, she's far to the left of Joe Biden. That's why she and everyone around this table got the same number of electoral votes in the Democratic primary in 2020, which is 0, along with Eric Swalwell and Cory Booker and a lot of other people. 0 electoral votes. Look, the Democrats rejected her. She ran a terrible campaign. I think she also suffers from something that's very important to all of us, which is she can't manage her staff. There's a guy named Gil Duran who used to work for her and said, if you can't manage your campaign, you can't manage a country or a world. That's really biting. She shed close to more than 24 senior staffers. These should be dream jobs, the kind that Dana and I had in the White House. She turned into nightmares. Look, she has said we need to reimagine police, that they're not helpful. She gave money to that bail fund, that helped murderers and assaulters go free. She said that she's Bernie Sanders. Ideologically, she's Bernie Sanders without the charm, and she is Elizabeth Warren without the eloquence. And I think she's going to have a problem. Having said that, people should take her candidacy a little bit more seriously than some of them are. Yeah. Whenever you have shifting sands in politics, whenever there's some kind of big event that resets, you have to go with the reset. It's kind of like early voting. You adapt or you die politically. So I think it's going to take more than some of these blind quotes and these mean tweets. I like the way Trump's handling her. He acts like, I'm not afraid of her, but we shouldn't let her turn the country into San Francisco. One last thing, she's going to create a huge gender gap in the Democratic Party among men. She has a very high unfavorable opinion among men right now. And she's got very little in common with non-college educated men. Trump turned his party into the party of the worker. We're gonna hear about the gender gap. It's the gender gap for Kamala Harris among men. Take it to the bank.
So, Dana, we're about to watch the greatest propaganda explosion in maybe the history of American politics. They're going to do everything they can to sort of resuscitate her.
But like 2 weeks ago, when Biden was still the nominee, all the media were saying that he needed to stay because she couldn't possibly beat Donald Trump. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, the irrational exuberance is, the thrill up their leg. They can't wait. And but that said, what Kellyanne says is true. It's like irrational exuberance can be contagious. Like the Democrats are giddy right now. They feel like they've been let free. Now, I do think Republicans have this opportunity to just use her words for themselves. Like, she has said all of these things. So just run the tape and make sure that you can help define her before she tries to redefine herself. I do think the timing is interesting. The next 3 weeks for her, pretty much a honeymoon. They're going to wait to see who she's going to choose for a VP. Then they have their convention. They're all going to cheer. They're going to drink out of coconuts. And then we're Labor Day weekend. And then there might be a debate. And then all of a sudden, it's October surprise. What could possibly be the surprise? That's what I'm kind of worried about. On the personnel front, I think that's very interesting when you brought that up about management. And George Bush, in his book, Decision Points, Chapter 2, is about the most important decisions you make are on personnel. And who you choose to work for you is a really big deal. And if you look at people who work for Biden, he never has fired anybody, but no one's ever left either. But her staff, I mean, every other day you read about in Politico, 45 more people were leaving her office and not wanting to work for the vice president anymore. So I think that Kamala has been soft on crime, soft on immigrants, and soft on economics. So the Republicans have an opportunity, but they better get to it.
So, Piers, Trump has called Kamala Harris dangerous, the dangerous combination of vicious and dumb. Is Donald Trump the only guy that can sort of break through this propaganda
I don't
machine?
think he should use that language with her. I think he should be smarter. I know it's not advice that he's going to heed very, very readily. He's not known for rising above the rhetorical fray, but he's got a chance here because she's going to keep just hammering him. He's a felon, he's this, he's a sexual predator, he's a con man, and she's playing very ad hominem, playing the man. He's got a chance, I think, with Kamala Harris to say, you know, I would avoid saying dumb as a rock, right? Even if he thinks she is, I don't think people will take kindly to that, and it might backfire on him. If what he does with J.D. Vance is just target again and again what she's actually done as vice president, what her record is, I think then over time, 3-4 weeks, the reality of Kamala Harris will move from the Queen to a very tarnished print. If you like, from Queen Elizabeth II, who was loved and adored by the world, to Prince Harry, is the kind of trajectory we might be looking at. Because her record, I mean, you talked about Bernie Sanders. I read that her record in the Senate, she was judged as being more left-wing than Bernie Sanders, right? That's all Donald Trump has to say. And then go over the stuff like she was the immigration czar. She said, don't let anybody in, stay away, and 8 million people came in, blah, 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 blah. Those are the attack lines which are going to be more effective. If I were him, I would steer clear of the ad hominem attacks.
But the success of Donald Trump is breaking through the media by using those attacks.
Yeah, but I have to agree with Piers. You know, the interesting thing is, you know, when you see me on TV, you go, that guy, he's so put together. He's amazing.
Minus the sweater.
But the reason why you say that is because you don't know who I am. And that's where you are with Kamala. This is the best she's ever going to be. Once you get to know somebody, it doesn't even matter if they're good or bad. You just know, the more you know about somebody, the more you don't want to know. But the Republicans can't be complacent. You aren't really running against Kamala. You're running against a machine.
Yes.
And that machine simply slotted her in where Joe used to be. Put her in there. The framework is there. Trump will still be a threat to democracy who inspired an insurrection. The difference now is you have a Democrat candidate who is alive. So it got harder, not easier. It's like Trump, you know, he could just cruise. It could have cruised to this election and let Joe fall apart. I don't think he can just cruise with nicknames. I think that he's got to up his game, play smarter. I think that, like, he's got to take all the free stuff off the table and make the primary focus that she lied to America. She participated in the most egregious political cover-up in American history. She knew this guy wasn't fit for office. She lied about it. She put our country in danger. I don't think mocking her laugh, calling her a ditz or an opportunist is going to change any minds at all.
He's got to run against Kamala the way he ran against Hillary. He beat a woman while majority of the voters were female. And he lost to Hillary Clinton among women by 11 points and won. Mitt Romney lost to Barack Obama by 11 points among women and lost. So he can do this. It's the time he was successful, but he didn't call Hillary names. He took her on for her record.
And you know, if he does win again, the Democrats are going to say all he does is beat women.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.